Did you know Eunice from Mama's Family was almost played by a different actress? Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane to revisit the iconic sitcom Mama's Family. The smothering love of Mama, the hilarious chaos of Eunice and Vint. These characters had us laughing for years. But what about the actors who brought them to life? Get ready for a blast from the past with a twist. We'll see how much they've transformed over the years. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of Mama's Family. Number 1. Vicki Lawrence as Thelma Mama Crowley Harper. On the original The Family sketches, Mama was a real firecracker. She loved to stir the pot and get into arguments with her daughter Eunice and Eunice's husband Ed. She also seemed a bit forgetful and leaned on them for help a lot, like an elderly relative might. When Mama got her own show, Mama's Family, she chilled out a bit. This version of Mama was more relaxed and known for her witty one-liners, but by the time the show went into syndication, Mama turned into a whole new person. She was loud, spoke her mind freely, sometimes a little too freely, and kind of bossed everyone around. It seems like she traded in the arguments for being in charge. Vicki Lawrence found her breakout role as Thelma Mama Harper on The Carol Burnett Show. This wasn't just any character. Mama was so popular, she got her own spin-off sitcom, Mama's Family, which ran for a successful 6 seasons. Even before Mama's Family, though, Lawrence proved she was a multi-talent. She not only acted but also snagged a top 40 hit with a song called The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia in 1973. When The Carol Burnett Show ended, Lawrence wasn't done with Mama. She brought the hilarious character to Mama's Family, which even won a Primetime Emmy Award. But Lawrence is more than just Mama. She kept busy in the following decades, hosting game shows like Win, Lose, or Draw, and even having her own talk show, Vicki. More recently, Lawrence returned to acting with roles on sitcoms like Great News and The Cool Kids. No matter what she's doing, Vicki Lawrence's talent and charisma shine through. Thelma Mama Crowley Harper was played by Vicki Lawrence when she was 34 years old, and now she is 55 years old. Number 2. Beverly Archer as Iola Lucille Boylan. Iola's a whiz in the kitchen and around the house. She graduated with a degree in home economics and can cook up a storm. But her talents extend beyond the kitchen. She's also known for her, well, let's say, unique crafts. Think coat hanger bird cages, cozy toilet paper covers, and anything felt can be made into. Iola might complain a bit about her family, especially her mom who never leaves the house and her super eccentric dad. We never actually see them on the show, but we hear plenty about them through Iola's stories. Deep down, though, Iola really loves them, and that love extends to the Harper family, too. She's hinted a few times that she was a daddy's girl growing up. Iola seems perfectly happy being independent and doesn't need a man to take care of her. Her dad spoiled her rotten, and maybe that's where she gets her strong and self-sufficient personality. Trading sitcom scripts for sculpting tools, Beverly Archer took a dramatic turn after Mama's Family. Gone were the no-nonsense librarians and stern test proctors. Instead, Archer found a new voice as a visual artist, specializing in thought-provoking clay sculptures. Archer's artistic voice emerged through thought-provoking clay sculptures, challenging viewers to contemplate complex themes. In 2008, she presented a unique exhibition at the Gem Gallery's Spring Collection, titled Byproducts. This collection featured ceramic cows, each named after a brand or product derived from cow byproducts, such as Estee, Manolo, and Gummy Bear. Through this creative endeavor, Archer invited viewers to reflect on our role in the exploitation of animals and the impact it has on our daily lives. By stepping away from the screen and into the art studio, Archer demonstrated her versatility and a desire to explore new avenues of expression. Her artistic journey showcases a commitment to sparking conversation and inspiring reflection through her visually captivating and intellectually stimulating clay sculptures. Eola Lucille Boylan was played by Beverly Archer when she was 38 years old, and now she is 76 years old. Number 3. Ken Berry as Vinton Harper. Vinton was the youngest of the Harper siblings, bringing up the rear behind his two strong-willed sisters. With snobby Ellen Jackson and the quick-tempered Eunice Higgins as his older sisters, life for Vinton wasn't always easy. He probably heard his fair share of teasing growing up. Vinton held down a job as a locksmith at Quick Keys, but let's just say finesse wasn't exactly his strong suit. He might have been a bit clumsy and prone to dropping keys, but that wasn't all there was to Vinton. Despite his quirks and maybe a few missing brain cells, Vinton had a big heart and a goofy charm that made him a beloved member of the Harper family. Even Ellen and Eunice, in their own way, probably had a soft spot for their little brother. Clean-cut and charismatic, Ken Berry tap-danced his way into America's hearts on classic sitcoms like F Troop and Mama's Family. This Illinois native started young, hoofing it on stage as a teenager before touring with a big band. After serving in the Army with actor Leonard Nimoy, who helped open doors to the entertainment industry, Ken Berry's talent was recognized when he won a military talent competition, leading to an appearance on Ed Sullivan's The Toast of the Town. Berry initially focused on stage performances, appearing on Broadway, and even opening for the legendary comedy duo Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Known for his song and dance skills, Berry became a sought-after guest on variety shows, most notably The Carol Burnett Show. He also hosted his own variety show, The Ken Berry Wow Show. Berry's film credits include Disney's Herbie Rides Again and The Cat from Outer Space. His connection with Carol Burnett proved fruitful, as he was later cast as Vinton Harper on the sitcom Mama's Family, based on a popular sketch from The Carol Burnett Show. On Mama's Family, Berry played the son of Vicki Lawrence's iconic Mama character. Following the conclusion of the sitcom, Berry largely stepped back from acting, making a guest appearance on The Golden Girls before his final on-screen role in the sitcom Maggie Winters. Vinton Harper was played by Ken Berry when he was 50 years old. Sadly, Berry died of heart complications in Burbank, California on December 1, 2018, at the age of 85. Number 4. Dorothy Lyman as Naomi Oates. Harper Vinton was the baby of the Harper family. Stuck between his two bossy sisters, Ellen and Eunice, he didn't always have it easy. He worked as a locksmith at a place called Quick Keys. Vinton wasn't the most graceful guy, and some might say he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but everyone loved him anyway. Thelma wasn't exactly a fan of Vinton's girlfriend Naomi at first. She thought Naomi was a bit flashy, but Vinton loved her dearly and called her Skeeter. Naomi lived next door and used to complain about the tree-dripping sap on her car. Despite the rocky start, Naomi eventually became part of the family. Naomi was a real affectionate woman, always showering Vinton with hugs and kisses. She was also a great cook and even had a short stint as a caterer. One time, though, she forgot some mayonnaise-based salad in the car for a whole day while catering a fancy dinner party. Oops. After Mama's Family, Dorothy Lyman decided to try directing instead of acting. She did a fantastic job leading the way for 74 episodes of the funny show The Nanny with Fran Drescher. It was cool to have a woman calling the shots on a show with a woman lead, and it really let Fran's unique brand of humor shine. Lyman didn't give up acting entirely, though. As she got older, she started playing more mom roles. You might remember her as the mom of a friend in Bob Newhart's show Bob, or as the moms of characters in Battlestar Galactica and Reba. She even popped up in some movies here and there, like Blow and The Departed. And guess what? Even in her 70s, she's still going strong on TV. You might have seen her recently in shows like Elementary or The Blacklist. Naomi Oates Harper was played by Dorothy Lyman when she was 36 years old, and now she is 77 years old. Number 5. Alan Kayser as Bubba Higgins. Bubba Higgins might give his family a headache sometimes, but they all love him, really. He's been working hard to straighten up his life. He finished probation, started going to junior college, and even broke free from his old troublemaker buddies. Bubba actually turned out to be a hero for his family. He discovered their house had a hidden history. It used to be a famous brothel where the founder of their town even passed away. Thanks to Bubba, the house became a historical landmark, saving it for the family. Bubba differed significantly from his cousin Vinton Buzz Harper Jr. While Buzz was patient and easy to get along with, Bubba resembled his mother more. Though not as selfish as her, Bubba was temperamental, stubborn, and very girl-crazy, a trait that his grandmother couldn't quite comprehend. Bubba, the grandson on Mama's Family, was a whole different story from his cousin Buzz. Buzz was chill and easygoing, but Bubba was more like his mom. Not quite as bad, but he could get hot-headed, dig his heels in, and was always chasing after girls, which drove his grandma nuts. Alan Kayser, the actor who played Bubba, even won an award for his performance. But after the show ended, he took on smaller projects here and there, like the movie Double Teamed on Disney Channel. Then, Kayser decided Hollywood wasn't for him. He wanted a simpler life with his family, so they packed up and moved to the countryside near Raytown, Missouri. Fun fact, that's where Bubba supposedly lived on the show. Even though Mama's Family was a hit, Kayser actually prefers regular jobs. He's done all sorts of things, from working on a factory line to selling Harley-Davidson stuff. Now he even delivers mail. Bob Cleary was played by Brett Cullen when he was 27 years old, and now he is 67 years old. Number 6. Eric Brown as Vinton Buzz. Harper Jr., Buzz was the kind of kid who made teachers smile and parents proud. He was super respectful to everyone, always following the rules and trying to do the right thing. Sure, he could be a bit stubborn at times. That's kind of a family trait, right? But even when he dug his heels in, he never resorted to meanness. This squeaky clean act wasn't exactly what his cousin Sonia wanted to see. She felt like Buzz was always showing her up, the perfect kid compared to her own mischief-making ways. But Buzz wasn't trying to be anyone but himself. He just had a natural inclination to be good and helpful. This genuine kindness won over his grandma and great-aunt. They saw a reflection of their own values in Buzz, a kid who was true to himself while still being considerate of others. In a family with its share of quirks, Buzz's strong moral compass made him a breath of fresh air. Eric Brown, born December 17, 1964 in New York City, brought the fun-loving Vinton Harper Jr. to life on Mama's Family. You might also recognize him from movies like Waxwork, 1988. Here's an interesting tidbit. There's a gap of about 10 years between his last two acting roles. After Stepfather 2 in 1989, he didn't appear on screen again until Outside Providence in 1999. It seems like acting might not have been his long-term passion, as there haven't been any credits for him since then. Vinton Buzz Harper Jr. was played by Eric Brown when she was 19 years old, and now she is 60 years old. Number 7. Karen Argoud as Sonia Harper. Sonia's basically your average teenager. Major boredom, minor meltdown potential, and a side of feeling invisible. Stuck between her parents and a little brother who can do no wrong, seriously, Buzz is annoyingly good. It's no wonder she feels a bit left out. It's gotta be frustrating watching Buzz get away with stuff while she gets the shorter end of the stick, curfew-wise especially. But for all the eye rolls and teenage drama, Sonia totally loves her family. Let's be honest, her wild streak is pretty similar to what her aunts were like back in the day, driving their mom nuts. Sonia's just on a journey of figuring out who she is and where she fits in this whole crazy family. Karen Argoud's portrayal of Sonia Harper, the teenage daughter navigating life's awkward phase on Mama's Family, was a memorable part of the show's first 2 seasons. This role marked Argoud's debut in Hollywood after appearing in the 1981 ABC after-school special Tough Girl. Sonia's character wasn't written into the show's revival for first-run syndication in 1986, leaving fans to wonder what became of the teenager. While Argud's on-screen appearances became less frequent following her time on Mama's Family, she did continue acting. She took a credit in the year 2000 film The Stonecutter, but beyond that, details about her acting career path are somewhat under wraps. It's possible Argud chose to pursue other interests outside of acting, or perhaps she transitioned into behind-the-scenes work in the industry. Whatever her path, she left her mark as the original Sonia Harper, a character who resonated with audiences experiencing the joys and frustrations of being a teenager. Sonia Harper was played by Karen Argud when she was 23 years old, and now he is 64 years old. Number 8. Harvey Korman as Alistair Quince. Ever seen Masterpiece Theater on PBS? Fancy host, right? Well, picture him with a twinkle in his eye and a joke up his sleeve. That's Alistair Quince. He's the guy who introduces each episode of Mama's Family, keeping things classy and funny at the same time. Mama's Family actually started out as skits on The Carol Burnett Show, another laugh-a-minute variety show. Back then, these shows were like live theater, with an audience watching everything happen right in front of them. So, having a goofy host like Quince introduce each skit made perfect sense. Despite his classy look and smooth voice, he could bring outrageous characters to life with hilarious results. This award-winning actor, writer, and director entertained audiences for over 40 years. Early on, Korman paid his dues in off-Broadway and summer stock theater. He slowly gained recognition with film and TV appearances, including a stint on The Danny Kaye Show, and cartoon fans might recognize his voice as the scheming alien, the Great Gazoo, on The Flintstones. But it was on The Carol Burnett Show that Korman truly shined. He was the perfect sidekick for the ever-changing Carol Burnett, and later, a hilarious duo with Tim Conway. Korman brought a brilliant, low-key craziness to the show's best skits. He was married twice, first to Donna Ehlert from 1960 to 1977, with whom he had 2 children, Maria and Christopher, and then to Deborah Korman, née Fritz, from 1982 until his death in 2008. They had 2 daughters together, Kate and Laura. Harvey Korman's personal life included 2 marriages. He was married to Donna Ehlert from 1960 to 1977, and they had 2 children, Maria and Christopher Korman. He married Deborah Korman, née Fritz, in 1982, and was married to her until he died in 2008. They had 2 daughters together, Kate and Laura Korman. Alistair Quince was played by Harvey Korman when he was 61 years old. Sadly, Korman died at age 81 on May 29, 2008, at UCLA Medical Center as the result of complications from a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm he had suffered 4 months earlier. Number 9. Rue McClanahan as Aunt Fran Crowley. Fran Crowley is Thelma Harper's younger sister and the uptight one in the family. She seems to be constantly on edge, like a tightly wound spring about to snap. Living with Thelma wasn't exactly calming, but things got even crazier when her nephew Vinton, his son Buzz, and daughter Sonia all moved in. Fran and Thelma clash a lot. They both have strong opinions and aren't afraid to voice them. But even uptight, Fran knows how to let loose sometimes. There's that one time during Vinton's wedding preparations where the wine flowed a little too freely, and let's just say Fran loosened up a bit. Who knew a little vino could turn this uptight lady into a party girl? Rue McClanahan was a TV chameleon who could seamlessly switch between laugh-out-loud comedy and tear-jerking drama. From portraying sassy best friends to vulnerable mothers and even the occasional villain, she had an impressive range that kept audiences glued to their screens. Her talent shone through early on with her role as Vivian, the fun-loving and slightly airheaded friend of B. Arthur's Maude, back in 1972. Vivian was a scene stealer, a little flirty, maybe a bit out of touch with reality, but undeniably entertaining. But it was over a decade later that McClanahan truly cemented her place in television history. She brought the unforgettable Blanche Devereaux to life on The Golden Girls. Blanche was a Southern belle with a flair for the dramatic and a healthy dose of self-confidence. She saw herself as a middle-aged sex goddess, and while her age might have raised eyebrows for some, McClanahan's portrayal was a hilarious and heartwarming exploration of femininity. Through Blanche, she showed audiences that love, desire, and a zest for life can blossom at any stage. McClanahan's impeccable comedic timing perfectly complemented Blanche's outrageous personality, making her a fan favorite whose legacy continues to bring laughter to viewers today. Aunt Fran Crowley was played by Rue McClanahan when she was 49 years old. Unfortunately, McClanahan died on June 3, 2010, at age 76, at New York Presbyterian Hospital after she suffered a brain hemorrhage. Number 10. Betty White as Ellen Harper Jackson. Ellen Jackson always acted like she was better than everyone else, even as a kid. Family wasn't a big priority for her, unless there was something in it for her. She was married to a guy named Bruce Jackson, although we never met him. But they ended up getting divorced. Her sister Eunice couldn't stand how good Ellen seemed at everything, which caused a lot of tension between them. By the way, the actress who played Ellen, Betty White, was a TV legend. For over 50 years, she cracked us up on sitcoms and game shows. She was even a pioneer for women in television. Way back in the 1940s, she was one of the first female producers. On top of that, she was a hilarious comedian who could always come up with a witty remark. Early on, she was a regular on game shows like Liars Club and Password, becoming so well known that people almost forgot she was also a great actress. Then came her role as the sweet-faced but sassy Sue Ann Nivens on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. This Emmy-winning performance totally reminded everyone of her acting chops. She kept the laughs coming with her next big hit, The Golden Girls, where she played the delightfully naive Rose Nyland. As Betty White's career soared, she became a national treasure. Her sharp wit landed her guest spots on everything from That 70s Show to Boston Legal. She even hosted Saturday Night Live in her 80s, proving she was the coolest grandma on TV. Just like Lucille Ball, Betty White's comedic genius defied age. Her hilarious characters will continue to entertain audiences for generations to come, thanks to reruns and the magic of television. Ellen Harper Jackson was played by Betty White when she was 71 years old. Sadly, on December 25, 2021, White suffered a stroke. On the morning of December 31st, she died in her sleep at her home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles at the age of 99. Number 11. Carol Burnett as Eunice Higgins. With a very stormy, irrepressible personality, Eunice is usually seen completely out of control and ranting on and on about something. The character is portrayed as a jealous antagonist in her appearances on Mama's Family, much more so than her appearances on the family sketches. Carol Burnett is a legend. For almost 50 years, she's been making audiences roar with laughter, inspiring countless comedians, both men and women, along the way. Her journey wasn't easy. From a tough childhood, she rose to become one of America's most beloved entertainers. She started by stealing the spotlight on shows like The Gary Moore Show. Then, in 1967, she got her own smash hit, The Carol Burnett Show. This sketch comedy series became a national treasure, showcasing Burnett's comedic brilliance alongside a hilarious cast. While her later series didn't quite reach the same heights, Burnett remained a force to be reckoned with. She landed hilarious guest appearances on sitcoms, surprised everyone with her dramatic talent in the TV movie Friendly Fire, and even showed off her singing chops on Broadway, winning a Tony Award for Once Upon a Mattress. Even on the big screen, Burnett made a name for herself in films like A Wedding and Annie. And let's not forget her incredible stage presence. Shows like Moon Over Buffalo and Putting It Together proved she could own any platform. The new millennium saw Burnett gracing our screens again with guest appearances on shows like Law and Order Special Victims Unit and Glee. No matter the genre, Burnett's comedic genius and acting chops continued to shine. This is a true icon who will continue to entertain and inspire for generations to come. Eunice Higgins was played by Carol Burnett when she was 50 years old, and now she is 91 years old. Number 12, Alan Oppenheimer as Mayor Alvin Tutwiler. Mayor Tutwiler? Yeah, he can be a bit of a blowhard sometimes, but at least he gets the job done, most of the time. He lives in the same town as Thelma Harper, and let's just say they don't exactly see eye to eye. At a senior citizen meeting, Thelma challenges the mayor and, to everyone's surprise, wins the election in a landslide. Turns out campaigning is a lot easier than actually running a town. Thelma quickly realizes she's in over her head and steps down, handing the reins back to good old Mayor Tutwiler. Alan Oppenheimer is a double threat in the entertainment world. He's not only a familiar face from countless TV shows, but also the voice behind some iconic cartoon characters. Starting in the 1960s, Oppenheimer began popping up on classic shows like The Andy Griffith Show and Get Smart. The 70s saw him land roles on sitcoms like I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, while also venturing into films with a part in the sci-fi western Westworld. But the 70s were a turning point for Oppenheimer's career. He began voicing characters in a ton of cartoons, including The New Tom and Jerry Show and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. He brought fantastical characters like Thundar the Barbarian to life with his voice acting talent. Oppenheimer's skills weren't limited to animation. In the 90s, he even scored an Emmy nomination for his live-action role as the powerful TV executive Eugene Kinsella on Murphy Brown. From live-action to animation, Alan Oppenheimer's versatility has left a lasting mark on the entertainment industry. Mayor Alvin Tutwiler was played by Alan Oppenheimer when he was 53 years old, and now he is 94 years old. Number 13. Earl Bowen as Reverend Lloyd Meekum. Reverend Meekum serves as the Reverend of the unnamed church attended by Thelma Harper and her family. He is married to the often overbearing Alberta Meekum. Despite his meek demeanor, he carries out his pastoral duties diligently. An incident involving his mischievous grandson Eugene warranted him significant screen time. Eugene's disruptive behavior during church services and subsequent antics at the Harper household tested Reverend Meecham's patience. Earl Bowen, a seasoned character actor, carved out a niche in Hollywood with over 200 roles to his name. While many recognize him as Dr. Silberman, the psychiatrist in the Terminator franchise, his career goes far beyond that iconic role. Bowen honed his craft on the stage before transitioning to the screen in the late 70s. He quickly landed parts in shows like The Streets of San Francisco and films like Mr. Billion. In 1983, he shared the screen with Steve Martin in The Man with Two Brains. The following year, he landed the role that would define his career, Dr. Silberman in The Terminator. He reprised this role in both sequels, making him the only actor besides Arnold Schwarzenegger to appear in all three Terminator films. Bowen wasn't just a big-screen presence. He graced television screens with recurring roles on shows like Making a Living, Newhart, and Who's the Boss? His talents even extended to the world of animation, where he voiced characters in shows like Justice League and The Pirates of Dark Water. Earl Bowen's extensive career is a testament to his versatility and dedication to his craft. He left his mark on both live action. Reverend Lloyd Meecham was played by Earl Bowen when he was 42 years old. Sadly, Bowen was diagnosed with lung cancer in the fall of 2022. He died in Hawaii on January 5, 2023, at the age of 81, number 14. Anne Haney as Alberta Meecham. Reverend Meecham is the kind pastor at the church Thelma Harper and her family go to. He's a bit on the quiet side, but he's always there to perform weddings, funerals, like Fran Crowley's, and you name it. He seems to have a soft spot for the Harpers, even beyond his church duties. One thing that did cause a bit of a stir was his mischievous grandson, Eugene. She's not exactly known for her kindness. Alberta can be a bit gossipy and judgmental, and let's face it, she loves a good rumor. Her position as the former president of the Church Ladies Group gave her a certain air of importance, and she wasn't afraid to use it to boss people around, even her husband. No wonder she and Thelma clashed all the time. Thelma can't stand bullies. Anne Haney studied drama at the University of North Carolina, but instead of beginning her acting career, she fell in love, got married, and started a family. She began working in local theater productions and in television commercials before joining a theatrical touring company. It wasn't until the 1970s, when Haney was in her mid-40s, that she began to act professionally. Haney moved to Southern California and in 1980, soon after arriving, scored a support role opposite Walter Matthau in the spy comedy Hopscotch. She followed with appearances on the rollicking series The Dukes of Hazzard and the gender-swapping sitcom Bosom Buddies. After working on numerous stage productions in California and continuing to appear in a wide gamut of television shows, from the sci-fi staple Star Trek: The Next Generation to the coming-of-age sitcom Boy Meets World, she returned to Bosom Buddies territory with her role in the Robin Williams in drag comedy Mrs. Doubtfire. Haney played the social worker who nearly outs Williams' character, and it remains one of her most notable roles. Alberta Meekum was played by Harvey Korman when he was 61 years old. Sadly, Korman died at age 81 on May 29, 2008, at UCLA Medical Center as the result of complications from a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm he had suffered 4 months earlier. Reverend Lloyd Meacham was played by Earl Bowen when he was 42 years old. Sadly, Bowen was diagnosed with lung cancer in the fall of 2022. He died in Hawaii on January 5, 2023, at the age of 81. We really love the cast of the Mama's Family. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you on the next video.